Welcome to the High Vibe CEO show. My name is Janine Roberts. I'm your host, and I'm so grateful you're here today. Here at High Vibe CEO, we teach women how to grow aligned businesses that can thrive in 2025. And today I'm so excited to introduce our guest for today, Dr. Rockie Felder. She is the founder and owner of San Diego Mobile Rehab and Physical Therapy. Welcome to the show, Rockie.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. Excited to be here and chat away.
All right. Awesome. Yeah, thank you. It's so nice I just met her just before the show. So I didn't get to know her in advance very much, but she's got a very interesting business, and I would love to hear more. So, Rockie, tell us a little more about what it is that you do, and also a little more about who you are. Who is Rockie?
Thank you. Yes, who am I? Yeah, so I'm, like you said, the owner of San Diego Mobile Rehab and Physical Therapy. I have been practicing physical therapy for about 5 or 6 years now, but really got into entrepreneurship with my own practice 3 years ago. I found this wonderful niche, specifically in San Diego, where we have a lot of people who are interested in their health, preventative medicine, and, blending personal training with physical therapy, because why are we waiting to see a physical therapist after injury, surgery, or disease when we can see the client before? And then I found a really great niche as far as like longevity and having people train smarter, not harder, and also preventing injury or exacerbation of previous injuries. So I'm working with a lot of high performers, a lot of people taking control of their health, wanting to prevent illness, injury, or surgery a lot of times too, and getting at the forefront of their health rather than after an injury or things like that. So really, really wonderful niche to be in.
Yeah, and I've never heard of that. I've never heard that. So that's like, I mean, you said it's very like niche down, but do people do that in other places, or is this something new that you kind of developed?
There are in other locations for sure. Yeah. So I have a friend who's a concierge PT as well, similar to my industry, and he's over in Florida. So it is around. It's in the United States for. Especially as we're starting to see insurance really not serving us anymore. And why are we paying these monthly high prices when we don't really necessarily need it if we're, high functioning individuals with our day. But then when we get injured, we're still paying co-pays along with all of those months of paying insurance that we didn't utilize. People are realizing that doesn't make sense anymore. I'll just wait until I need healthcare, and then I will pay out of pocket for high quality healthcare rather than insurance based.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are moving toward that. So I love that. What you said you started 3 years ago. So what made you decide to start your own business? You were in physical therapy before as well, right? That's your doctorate. You're a doctor of physical therapy.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what made you decide to go out on your own?
It was the quality of care. With insurance, you're restrained by whatever the referral says, most likely by the physician. A lot of people don't know, but the reason why we are doctors of physical therapy is that there's something called direct care. The patient can go directly to us, and that's in some states. That's not in every state, but a lot of people don't know that. And so the normal chain of events that happens is someone gets injured, they get a referral from an MD, they go to outpatient physical therapy. I was seeing the quality of care decrease because of all the restraints of insurance, all of the requirements to even have a clinic break even, let alone make a good income. So I wanted to practice the way I wanted to practice as far as looking at a person holistically. If they come in with back pain and I was in like a normal PT setting and the referral said back, treat the back, and then they come in, my patient comes in that day and says, hey, I have neck pain. It's really causing me a headache. Can we look at that? I would have to say, no, the referral says back. Mm-hmm. No, the referral says back. And I didn't want to practice that way because this is a human being in front of me who's in pain, and I have a skill set to help them and have a passion to. but legally I can't unless they have to go
Wow.
back to their physician, get another referral to specify their neck,
Oh,
and then I
wow.
can treat them.
Yeah,
And
I had
that
no
was
idea.
just, that's not okay to me.
No,
So
that's not okay at all. I
no,
mean, yeah,
yeah,
that's crazy. I had no idea. I had no idea
yeah,
that that's kind of how that worked.
yeah.
So good. That's awesome. So
And
now you
then
can just treat them for whatever they need.
not only that, that's what I love is I have my clients, they come to me, maybe we're treating for back and then the neck pops up. I can do the neck. Okay. The next session, let's do personal training. Okay. Over the weekend, they ran too far. They have a hamstring pull. Okay. Let's rehab you for that. And they're
Right.
back to doing their normal things rather than again, the current chain of events of becoming injured, going get a referral, that takes 2 to 3 weeks, hopefully. And then you get a referral, then it takes another 2 to 3 weeks to hopefully get a physical therapy evaluation scheduled. And then you're in PT. Now it's been over a month with pain, with impairments, muscle imbalances happening. Pain literally changes the neurons in your brain, right? Sleep is probably not optimal because you're in pain. And so now you're going into a PT clinic a few months later and you're trying to get out of this hole of injury that I can help clients right away. So it's a really cool system and program along with a lot of holistic stuff. We're talking about sleep, we're talking about stress, mindset, all those things matter and they're not in isolation of each other.
Yeah. Yeah. It sounds very well rounded. And so what's your turnaround then? Like if someone calls you wanting an appointment, can they get in the next couple of days? Depending on
Depending on
your
the
client
week,
load?
yes,
Yeah.
but depending on the week, they can get in that week. The longest is the next week.
Wow. Yeah, that's much quicker. I've
Mm-hmm.
had physical therapy before. I know I went through that process. So that's awesome.
Exactly.
So you started 3 years ago. What was, what maybe were some stumbling blocks that you came across? What,
Mm.
when you first started to even start the idea of starting your own business, like what were some of the things that you went through and had to overcome?
Yeah, entrepreneurship, it is a beautiful thing. And it's so cool that we can bring something into the world and create something. And I have so much passion for that. But boy, is it a little challenging
Yeah.
sometimes. You are creating a pathway that is not the normal path, and there's no syllabus like in school to follow, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
And which is a beautiful thing, but also very challenging. And so I think mindset work is so important. One of the things that really I had to understand was I can build slowly, and that's okay. There's
Yeah.
no end result. There's no deadline for me. There is a way that you can create something that is intentional because, especially in my line of work, if I'm burnt out, that does absolutely nothing for my clients. I won't be able to
Yeah.
practice as well. I won't be able to show up to them. My mind will be fatigued, right? So it is vital for me to take care of myself so I can really show up in my business and for my clients the way that they deserve.
Yeah, absolutely. So, what were maybe some of the mindset blocks that you, or maybe even mindset, maybe just stumbling blocks that you had to work on in your own mindset to get past?
Yeah, I think it was definitely the do more, do it faster, figure it out right now. And again, there's no deadline. What was that push? And I think it's good to have that motivation, of course, but
Yeah, for
also
sure.
having, right, you need a little bit of self-motivation, but having that mental talk of I'm building with intention. Am I building with intention of like my intention is scarcity? And so now I'm trying to overwork and overproduce? Or is my intention coming from a place of giving to the world, tapping into my talents to help people? And that's where I'm coming from. So shifting that energy in my mind as far as what am I doing and why am I doing it? What's my mission? What's my North Star? And focusing on that is one of
Yeah,
the biggest things. And
yeah,
then as
for
far
sure.
as for women, I think specifically another mind shift was get help. It's okay to ask for help. It's okay if
Yes.
something doesn't light you up. There's so many resources nowadays, so many coaches like yourself that can help you through the stumbling blocks. There's the social media manager. I'm not big on social media. Like, I don't want to do it. I hired a social media manager. That's okay. It was before I thought I had to wear all these hats.
Ask for help. Yeah, it is. It's hard for us to ask for help. We are, we feel like, we feel like we are supposed to do it all, right? We're supposed to be a mom and be a wife and be clean the house and, do all the things. It's kind of like, programmed into us. And,
Totally.
And we've got to break that mold, and we've got to shift that and say, no, let's do what works for me. Let's do what is going to grow my business. And also, I see so many women who are just so afraid to start. They're frozen. They are just, they don't really know where to start. But then even when they do, they're just so frozen because there's so much fear around starting your own business. And so that's something I work with women on, is breaking past those fears, those barriers that are holding you back, and just take the risk, right? Because what's the worst thing that could happen? So what advice would you give someone who's kind of like thinking about starting their own business, but that fear's there, that worry, and another thing is, women, a lot of times I've noticed, or someone getting ready to start a business, a woman getting ready to start a business, will a lot of times be after that immediate money, right? You're after that immediate, income coming in, because maybe it's needed or maybe it's not. But either way, you've got to look down the road, right? You've got to look 1 year, 5 year, 10 years down the road. And a lot of people don't do that. So what would you say to someone who's thinking about starting a business, and what would be your biggest piece of advice for them?
You're going to mess up. It's not going to be perfect. It's never going to be perfect. It's never a perfect time to start a business. You will mess up, and that's okay. It's like being okay with not knowing and it not being perfect. I think that also taps into kind of the culture of us women. Like, we feel like we need to be perfect and present perfectly and not mess up. And oh my goodness, entrepreneurship is all about figuring it out. And I think reframing that of when a challenge comes, it's a challenge. It's not a mess up. It's not a mistake. It doesn't mean you're bad in any way. It doesn't mean you're insignificant or not sufficient or anything of those lack-minded things. It's, oh, cool. It's a lesson. Cool. It's a growth moment, and I'm going to grow from this, and I'm going to learn from it. So it's just a mind shift, like perceptive. It's a more perception shift for sure.
Yeah, for sure. I love that. I love that it's just a perception shift, because, so many times we let the worry of money, or the worry of it failing, or the worry of people rejecting it, really consume us to where we're not really focused on the things we need to focus on. So if you could go back to like your younger self, like 10, 15 years ago, what kind of advice would you give her?
I would give her, just keep going. Please, baby, please. She was, and I think a lot of women can attest to this, especially entrepreneurs, you are doing really, really well. You don't give yourself enough credit, and you are really, really hard on yourself, girl. Ooh, you are hard on yourself, but be kind to yourself, and you will get there where you need to be. Everything that is meant for you will come in its timing, not your timing. In its timing, and to just give yourself some love and trust that it's all unfolding for you and not to you. Yeah.
I love that. No, that's awesome. Okay. So what do you do when, you're talking about personal training and really taking care of yourself, women's health? So what do you do to make sure that there's self-care for you, for Rockie?
Yeah. So I have a wellness tracker where I have a list of things that I got this from a coach. So I love my coaches.
Me too.
When I feel there are indicators, I've done a lot of self-growth mindset, things like that. So I have been able to identify when I'm starting to go into burnout or when I'm starting to feel a little run down. And like I said, it's so important for me not to feel that way, So it's like, okay, wellness tracker. Okay. Taking a bath is huge for me. Being in water, the warmth, relaxing my muscles, tension, things for that, tight muscles cause tension in the muscles, right? Yeah. Or stress causes tight muscles. So a nice hot bath, journaling, my walks. I have to schedule my walks in or it doesn't happen. And so prioritizing things like that throughout the day, not just when I feel like I'm going to go into burnout, but more, again, that intention of, okay, I'm going to walk by the ocean 2 times this week. Even if it's a crazy big week, I'm going to prioritize that. So those are the 2 big ones, but nice. I have plenty of things to do if I ever need to reconnect with myself.
Yeah. So I'm super jealous because you live close enough to the ocean to go walk on it. So that's awesome. I'm in Kentucky, so there's no oceans anywhere nearby. So I love that. And I love, just your story and just how you are resilient and, in building this business. And, I would love to know, like, what does a normal day look like for you? What is your normal day? Now, first of all, you said it's a mobile business. So is it a vehicle that they come into and do the service, or do you go into their homes?
That's a great question. So I have just my Jeep, right? And then I have a ton of equipment because it's able to be in the Jeep. And then I go to homes. After COVID, there's a lot of home gyms now, and people have this great home gym, but they don't know what to do with it. And so insert me. Also corporate offices. A lot of the corporate offices, especially in San Diego, have really, really nice gyms because this is very much like a health and wellness population. And then also like parks or anywhere else that the
outside
the client feels, anywhere that they really feel comfortable to work out. I'm like, yeah, I could be there. And what's great is like I show up. So I work with really high performers. And so they don't have 15 minutes to go to a PT clinic and 15 minutes back to their home or office, 30 minutes in their day. They don't have it. And so and also just keeping that appointment, I just show up to them. So I'm here, we're going to work out. We're going to do your PT, rather than, actually things got in the way. I can't go today. Like, nope.
Are you pretty tough?
Prior military. So
Gotcha. Yeah. I mean, I know that, a lot of us need that, right? Like we need that accountability to get up.
Even just that whole placeholder in their day is so impactful for them, where this hour Rockie's coming and they know they are going to focus on themselves because everything else is crazy, right? But this hour is for them.
Yeah. What do you feel like your clients get out of this the most, out of your services?
Lots of education. So I would love to work with them till the end of time, but that's not my goal. My goal is to empower them and have them take control of their health. And so I'm constantly educating them about how to take care of themselves, about their body, about their anatomy, about current research and what that shows, and the methodology behind physical therapy or personal training and why we do certain things and techniques. So there's a lot of education I'm doing on every session or during every session so that they have the tools and they're like, okay, I got the exercises, because I give them exercises too for home. I can do this by myself, and then I'll call you if I need you. Perfect. I'm in your back pocket. Just shoot me a text if you need me.
I love that. So what would you say, what piece of advice would you give to women when it comes to their health? Because I know that you're an advocate for women's health. So, so what would you give, just the audience of, like, what's your biggest piece of advice?
I think one of the biggest pieces for me was permission to rest. Physiologically, we are different than men, and that's not bad or good. It's just a difference. And so the tolerance of our current society is telling us to push harder, go faster. But for anatomy and physiology, it doesn't work. And that's why we're seeing a lot of women with autoimmune diseases, things that are manifesting long-term chronic stress, manifesting into chronic illness. There is a connection, and we are seeing that in our society. We're running our women to the ground, and that's not where we're supposed to be running. We're supposed to be living and providing and nurturing and things like that. And so I think giving ourselves permission, like a wellness tracker, or having those indicators of when you do need some self-care and some time alone, even if it's a 10-minute walk in nature, prioritizing that and giving yourself permission to rest and do things like that.
Absolutely. Meditation is such a big, so important to me, I make sure that I have a strict meditation routine, because that is what energizes me and gets me, just takes all the stress away. So, and walking in nature, that's a big one too. So I love that. So how about for a woman wanting to start a business, or maybe one that has a business but hasn't really taken off yet? What would be your biggest piece of advice for them?
I would look at their business if it hasn't taken off yet, and see if there's any mindset blocks. For example, certain narratives around, it's not going to work out for me. Everyone else is more successful than I am. I can never get what I want. I don't deserve what I want. That's a big one. There's a lot of self-worth around things that it's operating up here. Maybe we're not conscious of it, but it's not allowing us to show up in the world fully and authentically. And then also things aren't able to happen because you aren't coming from a place. You're coming from a place of, it's not going to happen for me. Things like that. Lack of self-worth. Yeah. So I would take a pause, even though, it's, you should do more. You should work more. You should network more. You should, all these things of external pushing and hustling. Pause, breathe, meditate. I love meditation. Journal. What's going on up here? What's going on in the brain? And then that will reveal to you the blocks. And then when you're able to heal those and work through those, it's so cool, because it just, not only in your business relationship, it will open up things. It will open up things everywhere in your life, relationships, friendships, everything.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we have to get rid of this hustle culture. It's killing people. It's just too much. Okay. So, thank you so much. I love, your insight and your tips. And, I think that's been amazing. So where can everyone find you? Where can we find Rockie Felder?
Yes. So you can see my website, sdmobilerehab.com. And then feel free, please follow me, shoot me a little message on Instagram at Dr. Rockie, DRROCKIE. It's an IE at the end. Don't forget that. And feel free, again, to shoot me a message. I'd love to connect. I love connecting with my beautiful, strong women, and we can achieve everything, but let's just do it a little bit more intentional, and the whole world would be a better place, including ourselves.
I love it. Less hustle, more intention. No, that's wonderful. Thank you so much, Rockie, for being on the show today. I really appreciate you, and it's been such a fun time getting to know you. So I really do appreciate you being on today.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so happy to be here.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for watching. This has been another episode of the High Vibe CEO Show, and we will see you next time.